Some netizens left a message saying that Palki Sharma reminded the US government in the program that Xiaohongshu, the international version of which is called Red Note, is also a threat. It should not wait until it grows like TikTok before dealing with it, but should be banned as soon as possible. I want to first post to watch the relevant video, and I have to say that my goddess really doesn't want the relationship between China and the United States to be good. What I am curious about is that this is a matter between Chinese and Americans. Why is the Indian media so worried about Americans using Chinese apps? Americans said in the video that they went to Red Note to express their support for Chinese apps, and they are willing to give their data to China. They don't understand how recording their daily lives and sharing videos of traveling with dogs can threaten the national security of the United States. Perhaps Palki Sharma can help the US government answer this question. When a large number of Americans poured into Red Note, netizens from China and the United States had the opportunity to talk directly for the first time. There was no official media from the two countries, no CCTV, CGTN, CNN, or Fox, but direct communication between ordinary people from the two countries. Everyone made a detailed comparison of their income, daily expenses, medical system, education system, etc., and the result made Americans collapse. Although the salary income in the United States is much higher than that in China, their purchasing power is really poor. The prices of almost all livelihood-related commodities in China, such as meat, milk, fruits, vegetables, snacks, toys, clothes, etc., are much lower than those in the United States. When they learned that a hamburger in China only costs $2, they fell into deep thought. Yes, even so, in China, apart from children, few adults like to eat hamburgers. They used $1.5 to get their breakfast in the morning, and the rich choices made Americans envious. China's urban infrastructure shocked Americans, and the cleanliness of subways and buses also made Americans ashamed. What made them even more unbelievable was that in many cities in China, it only cost 30 cents to travel through the entire city by bus. When Americans learned that China implements 9 years of compulsory education, only high school needs to pay tuition, and university tuition is only a few $100 a year, they broke their defense again. Because in the United States, except for a few wealthy families, most people have to take out loans to study in college and slowly repay them after working. China also has a large number of world-ranked universities, and the infrastructure of Chinese universities is also leading in the world. Speaking of medical care, China's lowest level of medical insurance only requires less than $100 a year to reimburse 70% of the cost of hospitalization. The cost of going to the hospital for examination and surgery in China is 1/10 of that in the United States, and the efficiency is much higher. China has a large number of hospitals with advanced equipment, which are high in hardware configuration and service level. In fact, the United States is an exception among developed countries. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and other developed countries have universal free medical care. Although the efficiency is low, it is free after all. The United States is a combination of low efficiency and high prices. It is normal for the American middle class to pay hundreds of dollars a month for medical insurance, but this cannot cover some special items, such as dentists. In China, dating a dentist is a common and cheap thing, but in the United States this may be a pain point for many people. They would rather endure the pain and dare not face the dentist's bill. Although Hong Kong people also have universal free medical care, many of them choose to go to Shenzhen and Guangzhou for medical treatment because their identities can enter and exit the mainland at any time. They would rather spend a little money than let themselves wait in line and aggravate their condition. There are also American bloggers who show off their favorite electric cars, which only cost $15,000 in China, but are banned from sale in the United States. People need to spend several times the price to buy fuel cars or Teslas. They don't understand why they, as citizens of the world's most powerful country, do not have the right to freely choose cars. Of course, Chinese netizens also learned a lot from this great exchange. They know that blue-collar wages in the United States are much higher than in China, and in the United States, People who work in blue-collar jobs are not looked down upon, which is much more civilized than the Chinese society's disrespect for physical labor. Americans have full freedom of speech, but they cannot choose to use their favorite apps. What surprised them even more was that free Americans dared not go out alone at night, let alone eat barbecue and drink beer at 2 o'clock in the morning. Many people have unrealistic and beautiful fantasies about the United States, which were ruthlessly punctured by American netizens. Many Chinese people work overtime 996, and many people in the United States also need to work 2 jobs to pay their living bills. Chinese people complain that high-rise apartments are not as spacious as independent houses, but they don't know that maintaining houses, mowing lawns, house insurance, paying property taxes, etc. all require huge expenses. Of course, in addition to complaining to each other, everyone also showed the good side of their lives. Americans are cheerful and optimistic, while Chinese are cautious and peaceful. Although the language and living habits are different, working hard for their families and sharing the happiness of life with netizens are the common values of the people of the 2 countries. Chinese people, like Americans, like to play League of Legends and World of Warcraft. Chinese games such as Black Myth Wukong and King of Glory also have a large number of fans in the United States. American stars, such as Michael Jackson, Jordan, Kobe, James, Leonardo, Taylor Swift, etc., are also very popular in China, and Americans like Chinese wuxia dramas. There are a lot of KFC and McDonald's in China, and many Americans also like to go to Haidaleo for consumption. Compared with the hostility of politicians, the people of the 2 countries do not seem to have any hatred. Perhaps as Palki Sharma expected, Xiaohongshu, or Red Note, will also be banned by the United States. But this does not prevent Chinese apps from making positive contributions to the communication between Americans and Chinese. At present, in addition to Red Note, there are a large number of Chinese apps such as Lemon8, Temu, and Shine that are ranked at the top of the list of American app downloads. Americans like to use Chinese apps because they solve the living needs of Americans and provide a second choice besides American apps. Instead of being jealous of the popularity of Chinese apps and hoping that the United States will ban Chinese apps, Indians should calm down, work hard to develop their own IT technology, and make apps that Americans like. With apps from a democratic country like India, how can Americans choose dictatorial Chinese apps? As for Palki Sharma, I rarely criticize women, but really, your viciousness and jealousy have brought shame to India. If Bollywood needs to make an Indian version of Snow White, you are the best choice for the queen. You don't need to act, just show your true self, and you can win the Best Actress award.